Welcome to the Innerscape podcast. Hello, lovely listeners. We recently experimented with a new recording studio in hopes of improving our audio quality. But unfortunately, it didn't meet our expectations. Since we are recording from separate locations, addressing these issues hasn't been easy. But we're dedicated to providing you with the best sound possible. So please bear with us as we work towards better quality, and we apologize for any disruptions you may encounter. We hope that the richness of our discussions makes up for it. Thank you for your understanding and enjoy the show.
Hi, Tina.
Hi, Judith. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Yes, I'm good. I'm excited about today's topic, which is a really abstract topic that we want to discuss today. So, would you like to introduce it a little bit?
Sure. First of all, I want to welcome everyone as well who's joining us today. Thank you so much for sticking with us and becoming part of this growing community here. So, in today's topic, we will explore the question that what does it create when you become aware of your own and other people's expectations? As Tina said, it's a very complex topic with several elements. So, first of all, my question to you, Tina, is how do you react to expectations?
Well, not so good, not so well. um, so yeah, this topic about have to is something that was defining my life for the last few years, and I'm happy that we talk about it because I believe that I'm I'm better to handle expectations now, but it comes from so many directions. It comes from ourselves or from others, and sometimes it's so hidden that you don't even realize that it's an expectation.
Hmm.
And it's just crazy for me how many things we have to do in one day and how we talk to ourselves about it. So
You're absolutely right. Sometimes expectations from other people is completely hidden, but at the same time, there are occasions when it's made up, when it only exists in our head. I know that, and we will talk about it more later, that so many times we think that people expect us certain things, which are not true.
it's
it's
all
all
just
coming
an
from us.
yeah,
Yes.
and it's just an
Yeah.
energy that we are sensitive about.
I learned something about 1.5 years ago that completely changed my life. And as I mentioned about 2 episodes ago, we're bringing now our strongest skill set because this is something that I've been sharing with my friends, and I can see the change in their life as well. It's when I started to think of my daily musts and on my duties and chores as things that I choose to do instead of having to do them. Because let's be fair, there is only one thing in life that you have to do is to die. I know it sounds very morbid, but all the rest is your choice. Even you might be your first reaction might be that, oh, she's dumb. It's not true because I have to go to work every day, I have to brush my teeth, I have to do exercise, I have to pay my bills. But let's be completely honest. No, this is something you choose. You choose to brush your teeth because you don't want them to get rotten. You choose to go to work because you want to maintain a certain lifestyle. You want to live in the flat where you live now. You want to save up money. You want to achieve something in your career. And all the rest, it's a choice. If you choose, you can live off the grid, you can live in the forest. This
Yes.
is all a choice, and it it has been such a liberating experience for me because every day I remember I woke up, oh gosh, I have to catch the train, I have to go to work, I have to do
Yeah.
this. I just looked at my to-do list and it seemed endless and it just all seemed so heavy. But when I
Yeah.
realized that this is all my free choice, um, a new
Yeah.
life began.
It's so
So what do you
true.
think?
I mean, that's exactly why we brought this topic to the people who are listening to us, because I think it's really determining everyone's life how we communicate to ourselves. And what you talk about is that you changed your language towards yourself. That okay, I'm not gonna say I have to cook, I have to, I don't know, lose weight, even with bigger things, like I have to be successful. You know, these are so powerful things that we put in these boxes. And then after we resist them, because what's happening when you have to do something, then you force yourself to do something. So it's not your free choice anymore, as you say. So you're gonna resist and you're gonna go against it, and you're never going to achieve what you wanted to achieve in the first place. So I think it's really an amazing tool to kind of change your mindset, to say to yourself, I choose to brush my teeth. Because if you make this switch in your mindset, then you're gonna let go of the expectations that you create
Yeah,
for yourself.
I agree what you said that the word itself must just
Yeah.
it has such a numbing effect. It absolutely paralyzes me, usually expectations from others, but from myself as well. But when I make that switch and I say I choose to cook because I want to have a proper
Yeah.
lunch, I want to know what ingredients go into my meals, or I choose to be successful because I don't know, this is how I value myself. Um, Everything from little daily tasks to the big life achievements. If you know it's a free choice, if you change your attitude towards it being a free choice, it creates so much more productivity and willingness as
Yeah.
well. You will be more willing and ease, going back to
Yeah.
our light tool, that it creates ease.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we, especially in Hungary, I learned this from my family's culture and my and our like Hungarian culture, that we we see from others this difficulty, that big things are achieved in a difficult way. You have to work hard to achieve things. That's kind of the mentality. And I think around the world people can relate to this, that this is not normal. That's what we learn from our surroundings, and it should not control our life in a way that, what if something comes easy to me and I make that choice to do it in an easy way? But easy sometimes is looked at in a weird way. Like, I had a friend in Sweden where I was living for a few months, and I had this friend who was like super easygoing and really kind to everyone, smiling all the time. And like it looked like judgments and bad opinions are not affecting him. So because of that, he looked at as someone naive and almost not trustful, because he's too kind. And people do this all the time with each other. They push down those simple, quote unquote, simple people, because they're not stupid. They can be super intelligent in a way that they don't let them be affected by negative energies. And I wanted to mention this because I think we create difficulties and more expectations towards ourselves to make it more hard or heavy, what we want to achieve, how we want to achieve it. instead of choosing to have an easier way and just to accept that we're gonna be looked at as weird people because everything comes to us easily. And I had
Is
exactly
it?
the same like experience in my life that sometimes when things were coming easily to me, I was looked at, oh, but you're just lucky. And no, I was working for it hard and I was not lucky. But I created these heaviness in my life to make it harder for me. So I can tell to them, I can prove it to the world that I deserve it.
Mm.
I don't know if it was clear,
Yeah,
but
I think so. You mean that we want others to see that we worked very hard and we suffered or struggled
yeah, because
for what we
in
have.
yeah, because in this society, working hard and suffering for something proves that you deserve what you achieved, what you
Mm.
get. But it's not true.
I wonder how much the victim mindset connects to this, that we also want to vic
Yeah.
victimize ourselves. I don't know if that's an expression,
Yeah.
but I know that when you mentioned Hungary, I'm sure we can line up some post-communist countries here where standing out is was dangerous and was a certain crime as well, and people um, did their best to blend in and not having more or not showing that they have more than the neighbors.
Yeah.
Um, I don't want to go back too much in history, but you know, you had to submit everything, all your goods that you had, and be equal. That was the base ideology of communism. And
Right.
I wonder if now we are the children of that generation, that we have this mindset that we expected to not to stand out.
Yeah, and maybe this was also influencing the language. Why do we always use this? I have to, I must, I should. I think it's really in every language.
It is, especially in English. You hear people from the moment they wake up saying, "Oh, I should do this, I should do that." But I don't know why we torture ourselves with this. But let's dig
Yeah.
deeper, a little bit deeper into that topic. So the second branch of the they have to is others' expectations. So I already asked you, how sensitive are you to them? How
Yeah.
you
I'm already pulling up my walls.
Mm.
Just talking about this. Yeah. I mean, I think others' expectations can be tricky in a way that sometimes we just really sensitive on people's energy of expectations, and then sometimes maybe we have expectations for ourselves, but we interpret it as it's somebody else's expectation towards us.
Yeah, 100%. People
And
don't realize.
yeah, and we don't realize, and we go into it so many times. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
But we have to look at it first in a way that if I'm sensitive for somebody else, that, okay, I sense that this person, even without telling me, I feel that you expect me to do something, even without communication. You feel on someone that he or she wants you to do something. I give you an example. So um, when I offered my friend to create a design for her company, because I studied graphic design, so I don't really have clients at the moment because I'm really a beginner, but I wanted to help her and I would love to do the design. But as soon as I offered and she accepted, there was this expectation there, and it was not articulated, but it's either me created this expectation or she had it and I was sensing it.
Mm,
So I started to make the design and I felt this huge kind of pressure and expectation that I have to finish, I have to make it good. And then I took out the joy of the
yeah,
process and the creation. And then I started to hate doing the design, which is stupid because I wanted to help her in the first place. So how many times
yeah.
we do that with things that we love to do?
No, it's incredible because I do get into a strong resistance as well immediately. I sense expectation even from others or from myself. And you're right, we do something with joy until someone, either us or the other person, starts to expect it, and then it kills the magic. And
Yeah.
I don't know if it happened to you, but when you had a plan, you had a dream project, and the first time you shared it with someone, you kind of stopped wanting to do it
Oh
anymore. I
my
don't know if it
God.
happened to you,
So
because
many
then
times.
you told it to others and then you felt, oh my God, if I don't do it now, they think I'm a failure. Now I mustn't quit. I must do it because they will ask. And you know, they ask from love. Your friends check in with you. Oh, hey, have you started your new business? Or have you started exercising or whatever? And it just suddenly becomes so heavy.
Oh
What
my
was
God.
a
Yeah.
dream project previously?
Oh, I feel you completely. I was just talking about this with a friend and I was telling her about it in a way that, I tell about my projects to people and then it loses the energy. It's just going away. And it's not true. I just realized it now as you said it that it's because of my own resistance of this expectation of or their quote unquote expectation because it's not really theirs, it's mine towards
Yeah.
myself. So
Mhm.
wow, I was having goosebumps while we were talking. It's really crazy. That's why I decided to not talk about a project that I have until it's not launched, because that's when I have to overstep that point when I actually start to do it, because otherwise it's gonna be a huge fail because I'm not even gonna start from this huge weight on me. What did you?
Yeah, but also to know that you're kind of person who is super creative and you always have so many good ideas, and sometimes an idea doesn't come to us because we need to actualize it, but sometimes it's just a motivation, or maybe we have it now, but we come back to it 10 years later because that will
Yeah.
be the right time. Because I know you every time we meet in person, or now obviously because of the podcast we speak daily, but before we met every, I don't know, 3 months, and you always had a new project. And I love it. I love it in you. And I think you have just become richer with all these ideas, but I
Definitely.
keep it for yourself.
It's there and it's gonna come, as you say, maybe at in a different time when it has to be born. And sometimes I think it helps to come back to it, to kind of ask a question from yourself that is it the moment for this idea to be born or not? And just keep checking back because it's not all gone. Just don't let them go because you think it's not the moment. So
Yeah.
super right what you say.
And I also wanted to give an example from my life to expectations that we project to other people.
Mm-hmm.
For me, for example, it's very important that the people around me, that they love me, they accept me, and I don't disappoint them.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, for a long time, I had this concept in my head that if I say no to them, or if I don't contact them very regularly, or if I turn down their invitations, then I would upset them. Another example for these imagined expectations is when you think that when your friends invite you to events, you have to show up, you have to say yes, you have to be present because you don't want to, even when you're tired or you had other plans, because you don't want to disappoint them. You think that if you say no, they will be upset. But they want you to be happy. They're your friends. So the people around you want you to do what's best for you. And and honestly, once again, this expectation only lives in your head.
Yeah. But what if someone actually expects
Hmm.
you to do something? Then
Yeah.
what can we do? How can we react to those expectations? Because there's so many times when we go, for example, family meetings, and these questions like, when are you gonna get married?
Oh no, not that one. For me, my usual question is, um, when are you coming next? Whenever I
Yeah.
visit Hungary, the moment I land and I'm just about to step to the first question. So when are you coming next? And I'm like, I'm here, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I get
Uh,
that a lot as well.
yeah, or when you are expected to turn up at um, dinners with
Mm.
relatives or whatever, where you don't want to be.
Yeah.
Well, I think what you mentioned earlier, that your immediate reaction is tension and resistance, and
Yeah.
what you resist, you persist. The more you resist anything in life, the more you bring it to you. The reason you attract whatever you resist is because you're so focused on it with strong feelings and emotions, so you technically bring it to you. And with other people's expectations, there are several tips how you can manage them. The first of all, the most important thing is your self-acceptance, I think, because it's very powerful. And uh, and I have noticed that when I set my boundaries and I know my own limitations and I choose myself, people automatically drop their expectations. I don't know why it's happening, but I can tell from experience that it is true. What do you think, Tina?
Yeah, I had a similar experience again with family. Of course, it's I'm a I'm a huge resistance person. If it's about my family, I had to resist a lot of things to fight for my own rights in a way. No wonder I'm the fiancé of a French person. Viva la revolution! Viva la resistance! Oh, that's Spanish still, but anyway. By the way, did you know that today is the 15th of March?
Yeah.
So this is also kind of interesting that the day of the recording, when we record this episode, is the 15th of March, which in Hungary, this day commemorates like the kind of the resistance or the fight
The
for the
1814, yeah.
freedom. Yeah, the 18th,
The
yeah,
revolution against
exactly.
the Austrian Empire.
So interesting
1848.
that we
Yeah,
talk
viva la
about this
resistance.
topic now. So go Hungary.
No.
And so what I wanted to mention is that it's when you have all this resistance, for example, towards your family, you you create the blockages, these energy blockages. So at the end, when people expect you to do something, you build up all this resistance, and then you're gonna want to avoid those people who make you feel that you have to do something, because if it's just overwhelming, all these expectations that you get from them, at the end you're going to push them away, because who wants to be around people who expect them to change who they are all the time? So for example, in my case, there was the topic around having a kid. or giving granddaughters and grandchildren to my mother and my
Mm.
family. And it was such a huge pressure, this expectation. And I always said that I don't want to, and that's just not in my future. Maybe it will change, but I don't want to at the moment. So don't expect me to to change my mind just because of you want it. As soon as I set my boundaries, they started to stop asking these questions because I was sure about what I want and what I don't want. They didn't have to articulate it. I already told them. And as soon as they felt this energy change in me, they stopped asking the question, which is
Is
crazy.
the power of self-acceptance.
Yeah, yeah.
It's incredible. Did you tell them to pick up a hobby instead or get a dog?
Of course I did.
Because that's what I thought to my parents
And it's
also.
funny because it's changed their life as well. Like my mother reconnected with her old friends and she's super social, she's traveling. So, this you can affect in a good way as well other people
Yeah.
with you setting boundaries.
I think the first step before setting your boundaries is cultivating your voice and your own truth, because without figuring out who you are and what makes you happy, you can't really set anything. So first, I think it takes you can't expect yourself to have this knowledge at age 18, 20, even 25, because it comes with life experience. It comes with ups and downs, and
Definitely, yeah.
figuring out who you are and what works for you. What are your limits?
Yeah,
And I'm really glad you mentioned that you talk to your parents, because I think managing other people's expectations, one of the best way is communication. If
mm,
you talk to the person who is putting pressure on you, because I think so many arguments and tension in the world is being created because of lack of communication.
yeah.
Yes, because lots of times when you explain yourself, which I also must say I'm not a big fan of explaining ourselves. I don't think you should always explain, but sometimes you just tell your part of the story and your aspects, and they understand, because at the end you have to live your life, not theirs. So
Yeah, exactly. But sometimes, yeah, I think as you say, people are not able to communicate, so they just go into resistance and they go into arguments, but they don't really talk about their true feelings, how
mm,
this expectation is affecting them. Because to be honest, we have to look at our own expectations towards others as well, because you don't know what you create in other people's lives or even in your own life when you expect things from others. I also listen this podcast that you are mentioning, Tudatosság podcast, consciousness podcast in English. It's a lot of access consciousness teachings in this podcast, and there is this beautiful example about how can you expect a leopard to drop their spots, because it's never going to happen. You expect something that this other person is not able to change.
mm,
This is so part of their personality. And we have so many expectations in all our relationships with friends, with family,
mm,
with our partners, with our lovers, especially between intimate relationships. There's so many
yeah.
expectations when we
Oh
live
my God,
together,
definitely.
those small things that we want to change in each other, and just have a look at it from the opposite side. Like, would you like someone who's always dissatisfied with you and with everything that you do or how you say things, how you do things? No, you would run out of this relationship. So just think about it. When you want to expect something from another person, then you're trying to change the core being of them, their true self. And you always have to ask this question, what is going to create in this person's life if I expect this from him or her? And the same, what's it going to create in my life? Am I going to chase them away, or am I going to actually teach them something? Because I think there's a way to affect other people's lives and behaviors and help them change if they want to, but it comes from acceptance and not from expectations.
Yeah. Oh my God. This is a whole other huge topic. I think our expectations towards others and acceptance, especially in relationships, because we often have a picture in our head, what kind of partner we want for ourselves, so what attributes we want them to have. And maybe the person next to us is not even close to that picture, but we force those
Yeah.
expectations on the leopard, as you said, with or without the dots, um, instead of instead of looking at the other person with openness and questions who you are, what you want, what you can offer to me, who we are together. I think it it can open up a whole other door for another 2 hour conversation. So
Oh,
maybe
definitely.
we can talk.
Definitely.
Yes,
Yeah, and I'm
yes.
not
I
saying,
like,
I just wanted to clarify that I'm not saying that if you cannot accept something in someone else, then you should try and stay there. No, if you have something so strong in you that you are not able to accept, then you have to find another partner and stop torturing this one, because it's never gonna happen, the change. But just let them go lovingly and not trying to change them, but
yeah,
also set a boundary for yourself and
yeah,
for your needs.
yeah. And I don't know who told me this. They always look at your expectations from the other side, vice versa. How
Mm.
would you feel if people would expect the same from you? So if you expect your partner to take down the rubbish, then it's okay because you think, okay, I could deal with this expectation, so I can take down the rubbish too. But if you expect your partner to move to another country for you or drop their hobbies, would you like to be expected that? Would you like to do that? And I'm glad you mentioned this because I'd like to jump back a little bit to what I said earlier, because it's also true for the imagined expectations. When you think that all your friends expect you to go to this movie night with them and you feel this heaviness, but honestly, would you be upset if they said no to your invitations? I think it can
Yeah,
be liberating when you realize that you wouldn't expect you wouldn't be sad if they said, oh no, sorry, I had other plans, so tonight I just want to take a hot bath, I'm tired. If you're fine with that, that they're fine with it too. So it
yeah.
works in every way.
So basically, the secret to a long-lasting relationship is to choose someone whose annoying things is bothering you, but just until the point that you're still able to accept them. I think
Wow.
that's
Okay, so there is definitely something for everyone to take home from this episode.
I mean, I believe in this.
And you have a successful relationship, so you might know the key. Yeah. Just to finishing up, let's talk very little bit about workplace expectations because that's another
Oh yeah,
topic. That's another
it's a big one too.
branch. Yes, it is very common to think about our jobs as a source of stress and expectations because with some of us, because of imposter syndromes, we really want to overachieve and do everything we can. I think, especially in capitalist countries where you work for a company, the more you give, the more they take and they want you to do. So I think it's very, very important to take only what you can handle and learn to take a step back. When you feel overwhelmed by the expectations, then take a break from work, from school. If you burn out, it will only result in disaster. So you won't have a positive impact neither of your life or your workplace when you burn yourself completely out. So just learn to take a break, go to nature, get some counseling, read books, whatever you need. And yes, set your boundaries. I think that's what I wanted to add here.
I think it's a beautiful way to close this call because our time is up, unfortunately. We could talk about this forever, but I think we talked about a lot of areas which is relevant for everyone in this planet, and I hope that we're going to help a lot of people to look at resistance and things that we have to do in our lives from a different angle. Maybe we could give a little bit of homework to people as well, something to think about.
Yes, I'd like to ask our listeners to write down 5 things in your day that you do from a must and start practicing the I choose approach. Just 5 things that every day you do from a must energy and change them to I choose and see how you feel. You don't have to believe us, but try this practice and see what it creates in your life, in your daily mood and approach. So this is what I'd like to ask. And do you have anything, Tina?
I would just like to add that whenever you have some kind of resistance with something, I like to use this clearing statement from Access Consciousness, not the full one with the podpoc, because I can never remember that, but just ask yourself, are you willing to let go of this situation and uncreate it? I know it doesn't make much sense, but I think this is going to open up doors in you to energetically create something better than what you're resisting at the moment. So that's all I wanted to add. And thank you. It was beautiful, this homework as well. I'm sure it's going to be useful for so many people. And thank you to all of our listeners to be with us today, and that you didn't resist this topic that much. And hope to see you soon in the next episode.
Yes. Thanks everyone for being with us today. And we will see you very soon. Have a lovely week. Bye.
Bye.
If you like this episode, please leave a review, share your thoughts in a comment, and spread the word of our podcast so it can reach many who might need to hear it.
Don't forget to follow us on Spotify and leave us a 5-star rate if you're happy with our podcast, and or subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content and discussions.